In this video, Jeff and I are going to talk about how you can reduce your primary Tier 1 storage costs and transparently archive and offload a bulk of that data without any changes to users or apps. So Jeff, can you tell us what is the challenge today with Tier 1 storage?
Thanks, Krishna. Yeah, let's think about our storage as a large pyramid. And at the top of this pyramid is going to be our Tier 1 or primary or production storage. We hear lots of different terms discussed for that. That includes both our active and inactive data, all of our main storage. Now, one of the challenges comes up because we now need to protect that. So using some combination of either replication and backup, we're going to protect that data, which is great, except now we're going to end up with multiple copies. We may have copies at multiple sites. We may be using backup software that's costly to manage that, but either way, it's going to be an expensive proposition.
Okay, so it looks like there's a lot of Tier 1 data, and about 80% of that data is actually cold.
That's
and
right.
It's just sitting there because users put it there a while ago.
That's right.
But it's all being managed with the same expensive approach.
Correct.
And what is that costing companies today?
Sure. To manage all this type of a system, we're typically looking at costs of $3,000 per terabyte per year. Now that can vary from organization to organization, but that's a good number for an estimate.
So that's pretty sizable, right? Because
Yeah.
it's way more than what people think they can get the Tier 1 storage itself at.
Exactly.
It's because of all this overhead.
Exactly.
So how can we help these customers with Spectra and Komprise?
Sure. Let's think of a new paradigm. Let's think of a paradigm with a smaller pyramid, meaning a total smaller amount of storage. At the top of that now is just going to be the active data. So now my primary production tier storage is just that 20% of my active data. Now I still need to protect it, and so I'll have a small stripe here for backup of that primary tier. But now it's much smaller than it was before, as you can see. And the total size has shrunk because I'm making copies with backups and replication, but the total amount that I'm backing up and replicating is much smaller. Now in the middle is going to be our 80% of inactive data. But instead of treating that as primary storage, we're now going to treat that in the Komprise and Spectra solution. Komprise is going to identify that inactive data, and Spectra is going to store it.
Okay, great. So what we did is, if you had a petabyte of primary data, you were managing before 4 to 5 petabytes of footprint, and now instead we have 200 terabytes of data on Tier 1 storage, and you're only backing up and replicating that 200 terabytes, and 800 terabytes is now with SpectraLogic. Komprise identifies and moves that data and is transparently being managed here.
That's correct.
How much can we save customers with this solution?
Yeah, we can really save a lot. So we're talking about 70% savings, and it really only goes up from there. That's the starting cost. So this total solution, we get this inactive data out of the backup paradigm, out of the primary storage. Your primary storage is much smaller. You can stop buying that new primary storage. You can maybe buy that flash array for your primary storage that you've always wanted but never could buy before because you didn't want to buy it for all that inactive data. So it really changes the paradigm and saves you a lot of money.
Yeah, and if a customer wants to try this for themselves, we can offer a complimentary assessment with Spectra and Komprise so you can see what the savings are like in your own environment.
Exactly. Thanks.